Welcome, welcome, welcome to another episode of Storytime with BDD. I'm your host, BDD, aka Brooklyn Dad. Folks, happy Friday. Welcome, welcome to the show. I'm so happy to have you all here. I'm very excited because I'm always excited on Friday. I can practically taste that frozen pizza and pepperoni, turkey pepperoni right now. I know at the end of the show, that's what that means. That's what time it is. It's pizza and movie night. I want to first say a brief hello to Trump Reaper, who is the first to arrive, followed by Fox Hill Dreams. And I hope you were able to make your way back into Twitter. Our friend Fox Hill Dreams has been locked out. So my prayers, thoughts and prayers to you. And we hope Elon fixes whatever the hell is going on that platform. That goddamn platform. Annie is here. Welcome. Bernadette H. Zelda, my friend. I hope your signal is able to hold up for just a few minutes more because we've got a very special surprise. Aries Wanderer is here. Watcher Soko is here. Meredith Powell is here. Samantha Hawkins is here. Cindy C, the ABX girl, Mama AG, Cecile Kazemi, Cindy C, rebooted too late, didn't get to do the full thing. Punxsutawney Mo, there he is. Lulu Girl is here. Lucy L, Arthur Port. All right, you guys. So let's go ahead and do a quick review of the things that I'm going to review in what I like to call stories of the day.
Stories of the day.
This was a hell of a week, too. So much stuff going on. What do we have on the cover here? It says, Trump's Bronx bust, Alito screws SCOTUS, and Terrence Howard science? This is a weird episode today. So Donald Trump found himself in the South Bronx, the South Bronx, the South Bronx. Thought he was going to make a big splash, but he was just a drip. Yeah, really. You're not getting New York, bro. You are not getting New York. But he thinks he is. Or at least that's what he's telling his donors. Samuel Alito is taking some heat off of Clarence Thomas and is challenging Clarence Thomas for the worst Supreme Court justice, sitting Supreme Court justice. I think Clarence Thomas still has it by a hair, but not much, because this guy is an insurrectionist SCOTUS justice with his upside down flag hanging outside his house. Was President Biden planning on using presidential immunity to order an assassination on his political opponent? The short answer, of course, is no. But why did grown people take to the social media waves and seriously entertain this thought? Why? We'll get into that. And speaking of why, so many questions. Why? I didn't want to talk about this because it kind of involves Joe Rogan, and God knows he doesn't need any help from me. He's got millions and millions of subscribers, and little old me, I'm not even sniffing anywhere near that. But he had as his guest this week, was it this week or last week, Terrence Howard, who made quite a splash with some shocking revelations. For one, if you thought 1 times 1 is 1, you might be wrong. And make sure, if this is your first time here, make sure you hit the like button. It looks like my thumbs up there. And also hit the subscribe button. It's in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. Make sure you do both of those things so you can help out good old BBB. And, okay. Fantastic new episode of the hit Really American Media show Shrinking Trump. And it just dropped today. It's fantastic. First of all, this show, Shrinking Trump, it passed Ben Shapiro on the list of podcasts. So it's very popular. Excuse me. The first episode garnered something like 250,000 views on YouTube. The second episode got 150 something thousand views. It's very popular, and it's just because it's these two guys who are psychologists, and they're not even boring. You would think that these guys, they've got some charisma. They crack some jokes. They are nerds, and you will you will know by watching them. But they're kind of fun, cool nerds, and they know exactly what the hell they're talking about. They know, they've been paying attention. They've been following the shit show as we have. They just have the ability, unlike us, they have the ability to observe things that they see in their everyday practice, from their studies, and they see them reflected in Donald Trump, and they're able to recognize certain signs of dementia that Donald Trump is going through right now. And so they're going to follow him down the rabbit hole into Dementia Land. And actually, I do want to share briefly. Oh, shit. Hang on a second. Oh, Zelda, my friend. Thank you so kindly. Thank you for the kind, generous donation. Really appreciate you and your support of the show. Thank you so much. I want to share with you guys a brief clip from this show that I enjoy so much. Not slides. We want to share a screen. We'll do that. And we'll do this, and we'll hit that, and yeah, we'll go here. Boom.
And what about you, Mitch? What you're part of this assessment team. We paired you two together. So the referral question I think I sent you in the email was, please.
Just want to pause this for a second to mention that on the bottom of the screen here, we have Emily Kleonsky and Mitchell Kleonsky, who are married. They're both married, and they are both experts on dementia. Let us continue.
Please assess the cognitive functioning of this individual who is being considered for an executive position as a CEO of a large enterprise. That was the referring question. I should have mentioned that up front. So can you tell me what you've learned, Dr. Kleonsky?
So I'm a neuropsychologist. So basically what we do is we give tests of mental function. And we do a lot more than the Montreal Cognitive Assessment, which is apparently, from what I can glean, that former President Trump had back in 2018. Interestingly, administered to some degree, we're not sure, by his subordinate officer, his White House physician. And then supposedly he scored an amazing score on this. Now, this is a 30-point scale. This is sort of like taking your temperature and saying, my God, this is the best temperature I've ever seen in anyone's shirt. Based on this temperature, you're going to be able to think your way, you're going to live forever, because 98.7, I mean, it's perfect. It's so hard to get this temperature. And of course it isn't. In fact, the point is, on a 30-point scale, if you don't have a score of close to 30, and 29 and 28 is close enough for regular people to function and to be doing well. Genius level doesn't exceed 30. You don't get extra points.
Right.
you're not going to find people in high levels who have anything less than that. It's such an easy test, and it doesn't require hard calculations as had been advertised. It's very simple math. It's very simple naming objects. It's simple kinds of 5 words to remember. So it's not tough. So we don't know. That was the last time he's ever tested. So if I were going to be called in, I would not be doing that test.
All right. So I don't want to spoil the rest of the episode for you guys. I just would highly recommend you check out that show. There's a lot of funny shit. There's some good stuff too. The main doctor in this, Dr. John Gartner, or John Gartner, PhD, he in the very beginning of the episode, he introduces a new segment called Good News, Bad News. And he takes issue with, you know, how we watch the news and we're like, why are they both sidesing this? You know, why are they saying both Biden and Trump are the same? They're clearly not the same, you know, and he takes umbrage with that. He makes an issue out of it. Every week they're going to do something where they're going to call out the media and say, hey, stop this bullshit. And he calls out the Washington Post in one article in which they tried to conflate both, excuse me, both President Biden and Donald Trump as using word salad. And he's like, you know, word salad is a diagnostic term that they use. And so he actually wrote a letter to the editor and to all these different people and asked them to print a retraction and gave the reasons why. It's a great show. Check it out. Highly recommend it. So yeah, word salad. And moving on, my New York Knicks are no longer in the playoffs. I'm not going to dwell on it. I'm disappointed, of course. I was heartbroken when it happened, but these guys, you know, they gave their all. What can you say? What can you say? You know, I could have said that the game was rigged, you know, that that they should have that they didn't count the points that they were supposed to count. Whatever. I'm not going to do that because I'm not an idiot. I'm not an asshole. You know, they did their best and they didn't make it. I'm very excited about this Knicks team. I hope next year they make it into the playoffs, and I hope they go further. I hope they make it to the, if not the NBA finals, at least the Eastern Conference finals, at least. And I hope that Indiana gets blown the hell out. Okay. So sad news. Sorry to say this. I should have warned you guys, but sad news. The baby sparrows that we found last week, they are no more. None of them survived. All four died, and it was very sad. It's very sad. You know, we did like the Knicks. We did our best. You know, we started off feeding them cat food, and they seemed to be thriving under that. And then we went to the pet store because we thought that maybe, you know, actual bird food was better. Turns out after we started giving them actual bird food, that was not as good as just like wet cat food, apparently. I don't think I'll try that again because it was really just painful. You know, you're trying to feed these little guys and they didn't make it. But earlier this week, in the exact same yard, I don't know what it is about our yard that all these critters have decided that, you know, we're the ones to take them in. We found a little kitty in the yard. And I'll say this. I was dead set. I was dead set against this. I was like, nope. To wifey, I was like, nope. We should put it back. No, we should take it to a rescue. No, I don't want it. No, we got to integrate it with these other animals in the house and blah, 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 blah. But I'm a softie. A softie. I could see the look in wifey's eyes. I was like, on second thought. So We did take this kitten. His name is now Sunny. He is now a member of the BDD family. He is currently at the vet getting his shots, getting his checkup, checking to make sure he doesn't have ringworm and all of the things, all his vaccinations. And I think we're doing the, what do you call that, microchip thing or whatever. We're doing that. He's adorable. If I'm being honest, he is adorable. I was concerned about bringing him in because he's another animal, and we've got 3 already. Also because we had Kobe. Between the 2 cats, we have Mars and Kobe. Mars is very chill. I don't think Mars will have a problem with Sunny, but Kobe's a little she's fierce. Oh wait, I got a video. This was the surprise I have. He's a cutie patootie. He's cute as hell, cute as a button. And yeah, we call him Sunny because well, we already have a dog named Rainy. But also we found him, in the sun, in the bleeding hot sun. So there he is, latest member. Welcome, Sunny. Let's talk briefly. I want to try to zoom through these shows as quickly as possible, but this is a show that's on Netflix and it's called Bodkin. And if any of you guys are fans of murder mysteries or whatever, true crime podcasts, you might enjoy this one. I have never been to Ireland. I've heard that it's beautiful, and when you watch this show, you will see that it is beautiful. It is really beautiful. There's some gorgeous, gorgeous scenery in this show, which takes place in Ireland. And there is an annual festival that the folks in Ireland celebrate. I believe it's called Samhain, but it's spelled Samhain, but it's pronounced Samhain. And I don't even know if that's a real thing, but that's what it is in the show. And the guy on the left in this picture here, his actor name is Will Forte, and that dude is he's known from doing the character MacGruber from the Saturday Night Live spoof on MacGyver. Excuse me. And so he and the 2 ladies on the right of him are doing a podcast, and the woman in the middle is actually a professional investigative reporter, and she is irritated by having been assigned to this, what she considers a bullshit assignment for a podcast. She doesn't see that as real investigative journalism, but they do uncover some real crime and some real shit. And it's fascinating show. It's really, really fun characters. And as a result, it is a real holiday. Look at that. Samantha and Simon says Samhain is the origin of Halloween. That's right. That is right. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you for that. And as we were watching this, it reminded me of another show that I had been, well, this didn't remind me of it, but the actor Will Forte, he's a very talented guy. He's in another show that I highly recommend. It's called The Last Man on Earth. Now, this is a show that's on Hulu. It's old. It came out maybe 4 or 5 years ago or something. I'm pretty sure it's finished shooting. And it basically says, what if you were the last person alive on Earth? And we first start following this guy. Phil Miller is the character's name. Phil Miller. He apparently there was a virus that just killed off everybody on Earth, and So in the very first episode, you see him driving around to different places. He goes to the White House and he picks up some memorabilia. Goes to the Smithsonian, picks up like a big dinosaur head. There's no consequences for his actions. He doesn't have to worry about traffic signals or parking restrictions because it's just him. It's only him. Imagine if you were the last person alive on Earth. Everything is quiet except for the noise that he makes. And so he spray paints. Every state he visits, he spray paints on the billboards "Alive in Tucson" because that's where he's from and that's where he plans to go. Goes to all 50 states. Not sure if he made it to Alaska, but anyway, he's there for years. He's by himself and can't find a soul. But he puts that on the billboards, and lo and behold, eventually he is visited by another person. So it turns out he is not the last person alive. But so that some of the things he does are kind of funny, kind of stupid. And he is a character who has like the worst possible instincts you can imagine. He fluctuates between, wow, that's a really great idea, and dude, how petty and stupid can you be? He fills up one of those kiddie pools with with a margarita and puts salt around the rim, and then he bathes in it. Basically, he uses a car to bowl and destroy like a bunch of fish tanks and stuff. He does unnecessary bullshit, but it's a very entertaining, amusing show. Highly recommend it. Tonight, wifey and I think we may watch this flick that's on Netflix. It's called Atlas. It's starring Jennifer Lopez, J-Lo, and she's an action adventure figure. She plays like some kind of special forces agent who seeks and destroys evil artificial intelligence in the future, whereas artificial intelligence is now like cybernetics, like cyborgs or something like that. And she requires the assistance from an AI unit that she suddenly is at odds with. It's almost like a buddy cop show where she hates she hates the AI. She can't deal with it. But it's weird to me because like you're obviously in the future. You've been living with AI, and it seems like she's just learning that AI identifies itself with names. Like we have Siri. We've been calling our phones Siri for already a decade now. So whatever. It looks interesting. I like good action. Action adventure is my jam. That is my number one jam. And The Fall Guy, I don't know if we'll watch this, but this just hit the theaters like, I don't know, 2-3 weeks ago, and already it's available for streaming, not free streaming. You have to pay for this. I'm almost intrigued, but my instinct tells me just wait. There's so much stuff to watch on TV. We can wait. But if I was going to pay for something, and this, by the way, The Fall Guy is starring Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt, and it's a spin from the 1980s show starring Lee Majors, aka $6 Million Man. But if I was going to pay for a movie, and I think we might go to the movies this weekend, wifey and I will see Furiosa, the latest installation in the Mad Max saga. And the reboot of the Mad Max saga, not the Mel Gibson one. This is a continuation of the most recent one starring Tom Hardy. And this is a backstory into the character played by Charlize Theron in the last one and is now played by Anna Taylor. damn it, I can't remember her last name. She's not our favorite actress, you know. She's played some pretty shitty characters in the past and kind of rubbed us the wrong way. But anyway, it looks very, very fantastic. So we're gonna possibly see that this week. Let's talk about this pathetic politician, Nikki Haley. I always knew, long before she dropped out of the race, I knew that she was going to end up endorsing Trump. The thing that irritated me about her endorsing Trump was the fact that she spent almost a year telling people how unfit he was, how unhinged he was, how this he was, how that he was. She told her donors, her supporters, the people who continue to vote for her, there are people still voting for her. She is still capturing 20% of the vote in the primaries. Now, Donald Trump pretty much has the elections on the lockdown. Excuse me, not the elections, the Republican primary he's got locked down. He is the presumptive Republican nominee. So there's no threat of him losing that. But he told her supporters, her donors, we don't need you. And she went and said, I'm going to vote for Donald Trump because she said that Joe Biden was a catastrophe. That's a lie. You know it. Objectively, you know it. Excuse me. Yes, Val. Donald Trump referred to Nikki Haley when he wasn't calling her Nancy Pelosi. He was calling Nikki Haley bird brain, among other things. And Fox Hill Dreams says that Nikki is pushing for VP. Trump has already said she's not in the running. She's not even in the running for VP. It would make sense if he did, but she steals too much thunder from him and she provides a poor contrast to him. You know, I mean, I don't know. It's just, I'm not surprised by her endorsing him. I'm just disappointed because, you know, she's one of these people that you listen to her speak, you know, she's not a moron. You know, she's educated. You know, she's intelligent. And why do this? Why do this middling shit? She is never going to be supported by full-on Trumpers. They will never accept her. And she'll never be accepted by the decent folks. And I consider myself one of the decent folks. I would never vote for her. Would never vote for her. Because she believes in nothing. You know what she believes in? She will go after our Social Security and Medicare. When you hear her talking about raising the retirement age, that is exactly what she is poking at. That Social Security. I'm about to be eligible to collect Social Security. You think I want to, wait 5, 6, 7 more years to collect it? Are you crazy? I've been paying out of my check my entire career. And you want to just put it out of reach? Forget it. And then she also supports a national abortion ban. So, no. So, what's the point in making yourself look like a pathetic, shallow politician? What's the point? And I get it. Anyway, Donald Trump, speaking of pathetic, shallow politicians, Donald Trump had a rally in the Bronx last night, the Boogie Down Bronx. And this was a transparent attempt to appear as though he was reaching out to people of color. He's steadily been trying to peel off minority support. In the 2020 election, Donald Trump got 23% of the New York vote. President Biden got 76%. I don't think President Biden is at risk of losing New York. I frankly, I don't know what Donald Trump is up to with this New York ploy. It's a lot of bravado. You know, he tried to claim that, or his supporters tried to claim that he was going to have like 30,000 people there. Barely had 3,500. This is an interesting thing here. Eric Trump, these guys are always about the fakery here. Eric Trump posted a video of adoring fans on the side of the street. I believe that's Fifth Avenue. It's either Fifth Avenue or Madison Avenue. It looks like it's Madison because it looks like they're going downtown. Wait. No, sorry. Madison goes uptown. That must be Fifth Avenue. That's Fifth. And he tries to say the people lined up outside are waving in support of Donald Trump. No. In Manhattan? Are you crazy? No self-respecting New Yorker would be caught dead cheering for that clown. And of course, the community notes to the rescue once again. They say this is not a video of a crowd in New York gathered for Trump on his way back to his Golden Tower. It's a video of a crowd that was gathered for President Biden back in April when he visited Howard Stern in New York. And that is probably one of the most hilarious things I saw this week. Eric Trump being owned with a video that was for President Biden. Anyway, so yeah, this was an empty ploy to make it appear as though he's appealing to the same people that he will be looking to round up and deport if he were fortunate enough to win the presidency again. And there's an aerial shot of Donald Trump's pathetic rally. It's funny because most of the shots that you see of his rally are at this level. They never really give you a full shot of, you know, the surroundings. And you know, if he had that crowd, he would, like the previous week. Roger Stone tried to use a picture from a Rod Stewart concert saying, this is Trump's rally. Oh yeah, New Jersey is in play for Donald Trump. Could Joe Biden draw a crowd like this? You know, they always try to use an overhead shot. This was not. This was not 30,000. This wasn't even 15,000. It wasn't even 10,000. It was 3,500, and that's being generous. That is a generous estimate by NYPD aviation team, the folks in the helicopters above the rally. So that is totally hilarious. What else is hilarious is that Donald Trump was busted this week trying to say that if he were to become president again, that that Vladimir Putin would release Evan Gershkovich, who is being held prisoner by Russia. He is a Wall Street Journal reporter. And he said, yeah, they will only do it for Donald Trump. Such a fucking liar. These things are verifiably false. And how do we know? Because almost immediately the Kremlin was like, no, niet. We don't speak with Donald Trump. We don't speak with him. If we make plan like this, we do it private, and so nobody know. No, this is not true. such a fucking idiot. He just lies. He lies, and he lies about lying. This goddamn piece of shit. And speaking of lying about lying, here's another lie he told. And this is the outrage. This is one of the most outrageous things I ever heard. I don't know who started it, if he started it or if Marjorie Taylor Greene started, but somebody decided to look at the forms submitted, excuse me, as instructions to the FBI agents who were going to execute the raid. It wasn't really a raid, but whatever. We'll say, for lack of a better term, the agents that were looking to execute the raid on Mar-a-Lago. It's a standard boilerplate thing that says if you encounter resistance that is about to cause you harm, bodily harm, you are authorized to use deadly force. So, standard. If whether it was Donald Trump or it was Al Capone, it would say the same thing. Now, Donald Trump jumped on his Truth Social and says, "Wow, I just came out of the Biden witch hunt trial in Manhattan. The icebox," always throwing in how cold he is. Wear a fucking sweater, you punk ass bitch. "And was shown reports that crooked Joe Biden's DOJ, in their illegal and unconstitutional raid of Mar-a-Lago, authorized the FBI to use deadly, lethal." In case you didn't know what deadly means, let's put the word lethal in parentheses. "Lethal force. Now we know for sure that Joe Biden is a serious threat to democracy. He is mentally unfit to hold office. 25th Amendment." What is this? It's like, it's not even, there's no connection to reality with these things that he says. First of all, your own lawyer is arguing that you should have presidential immunity to use SEAL Team 6 to order an assassination strike on your political opponent. That's your legal team's argument. So you are helping, kind of, in a way, to somehow steer the Supreme Court in the right direction, even though I think the Supreme Court is beyond help. We'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene, she had to throw her shit in the mix here. Saying, "I made sure that he knew the Biden DOJ and FBI are planning to assassinate President Trump and gave the green light. Does everyone get it yet? What are Republicans going to do about it?" She says she tried to out. Oh, now here's where she throws her little 2 cents in. "I tried to oust our speaker who funded Biden's DOJ and FBI, but Democrats stopped it." That's a very self-serving thing there. She's trying to justify her stance against her threat to unseat Mike Johnson. And frankly, I'm starting to think that it was a mistake to keep Mike Johnson in his seat, but we'll see. We got one thing out of him that was good. But yeah, this is insane. And let me just say this, right? If President Biden really wanted to assassinate Donald Trump, look at it this way. President Biden, with a very narrow majority in the Senate and no majority in the House, somehow still, actually, he did have a majority when he passed all those bills. He passed a shit ton of bills in the House, including a landmark, historic infrastructure deal, the CHIPS deal, the PACT Act, the American Rescue Act, so many things, even getting airlines to reimburse people for bullshit delays and shit like that. He got all this stuff passed. Even student debt, when Republicans were dead set against it, he managed to figure out a workaround. You think if He wanted to assassinate your dumbass that you wouldn't already be 6 feet under. That's Dark Brandon. That's Dark Brandon. If he wanted you gone, man, they'd already be pissing on your grave right now. He didn't want you dead. He just wants to humiliate you. He wants to defeat you in a humiliating fashion. In other news, Hunter Biden is involved in, hey, lane 2, I see you there, my friend. Welcome. I haven't seen you in forever. Glad to have you back here. Sandra from Paramount, California. Yes, welcome. Welcome to you too. Jenny Rayner, Chris Passeri, Daisy Love, CJ. Welcome, you guys. Welcome. Glad to have you. Valerie G, of course. Yeah, so there was some pretrial activity today, and there were some wins given to the prosecution and some wins given to the defense. And in this case, the defense is Hunter Biden. And Hunter Biden is facing some serious charges, gun charges, because I think he lied about his drug use or his active drug use when he got his gun. So he could spend some serious time behind bars in jail. But the biggest win for him, for his legal team, is that he will get to address certain things in his laptop, specifically emails, that unknown characters are have attempted to possibly plant on his laptop, because the chain of custody on his laptop is very shaky. It was never like from Hunter Biden to the FBI back to Hunter Biden. It was like from Hunter Biden to the laptop store to like Rudy Giuliani to somebody else and somebody else. And then it was in authorities' hands. And by that time, who knows what shit they planted on his laptop. These are people who are blatantly trying to claim Rod Stewart's concert as their own, trying to claim Joe Biden's fans as their own. And this is something that just happened a few weeks ago. These are not the sharpest knives in the drawer. So is it that far? Is it that hard to believe that they would try to spike Hunter Biden's laptop with some bullshit? No, not at all. Donald Trump's trial is in the process of wrapping. Both the defense and both the prosecution and the defense have rested their cases. So starting Tuesday, we are going to see closing arguments from the prosecution and the defense. So what happened this past week was that we heard from Robert Costello. Robert Costello was supposed to be Michael Cohen's attorney. But what was made clear from the cross-examinations was that Robert Costello never gave a damn about the needs of Michael Cohen, his supposed client. He was more interested in getting in good with Donald Trump. And so when objections were sustained and overruled, this jackass, Robert Costello, was getting fed up and snarky with the Judge Marchand. At one point, he was even eyeballing him. He was staring him down. Judge Marchand was like, "Motherfucker, are you mad dogging me? Man, I will bust your shit. We'll go right out of the back." No, he didn't do that, but he cleared the courtroom. Judge Marchand cleared the courtroom and said, "You're on thin ice here, Buster." Buster. Nobody says Buster, but Richie Cunningham, Buster. Yeah, he made it clear you're on thin ice. You're on thin ice. You mess around and I will throw you the hell out of this court. God damn it. And Jenny Rand, thank you for that reminder. I always forget to please don't forget to mash the like button. Mash it, please. Make it mashed. Thank you. And now let's talk about Justice Samuel Alito, the insurrectionist justice whose apparently his wife was flying the American flag upside down outside his house. What's the big deal, right? So the American flag upside down, it means that the country is in distress. I had actually seen it. I'm pretty sure I've seen an upside down flag before January 6th. But since January 6th, it has become almost synonymous with January 6th attackers. And in fact, just within a week of January 6th, this flag was seen flying outside Justice Alito's house. Now, he said that, well, it wasn't him. It was his wife who was having a beef with the neighbor. I can't confirm this. I think the neighbor may have called Justice Alito's wife the C word. Can't be sure of this. It's funny. She probably had it coming. But yeah. Oh, so I'm a C word, huh? I'm going to throw this flag upside down and fry it in your face, you bitch. Excuse me. So, Justice Alito, you live in the house too, correct? That's your house, right? You see a flag flying upside down outside your house. You don't think, this is wrong. I'm an American. Why would we fly the flag upside down? I love that flag. You know, Republicans get all teary-eyed when it comes to disrespecting the flag. Why would you kneel during the national anthem? So disrespectful to the flag. They only care about the flag being disrespected when it's a person of color or, you know, some other marginalized group of people. When it's themselves, when their wife is being called a Karen or whatever, fly that flag upside down, God damn it. And that's not the only thing. It was hey, this flag, the Appeal to Heaven flag, is another. It's synonymous with, you know, that bullshit, that January 6th bullshit. This was outside Speaker MAGA Mike Johnson's office. How dare you, you son of a bitch? That's how you thank us? Huh? We saved your job. We saved your ass from being retired. And this is what you do? God damn you all to hell. So yeah, Justice Alito was flying that flag outside one of his other properties that he resides at, obviously, because somebody put it up. And this guy, you know, this is a clear violation, ethical violation. This is they should make. Remember they used to do those. They used to do those videotapes. Girls Gone Wild. They should make a tape. Justice is Gone Wild. This is outrageous. It's bad enough that the trust in the Supreme Court now is at an all-time low. It's, you know, in the low double digits, and it's in the teens right now. And that's primarily because 6 of the justices on the Supreme Court, and I mean, yeah, that includes Chief Justice Roberts. What is the point of having the title Chief Justice if you can't, you know, put the smackdown on anybody? If you can't keep your folks in line, what is the point of that title? What's the point of it? It's meaningless. Can nobody check these people except for an impeachment? It's ludicrous. Our whole system is fucked up. It's fucked up because these people have lifetime positions. That means they could do whatever the hell they want to do. They could come to court butt naked if they wanted to. What are you going to do? I got all these senators who will refuse to impeach me. What are you going to do? We do whatever I want to do. Overturn Roe v. Wade. What are you going to do about that? Nothing. Apparently, nothing. Three of those justices, Kavanaugh, Gorsuch, and Barrett, lied when they said that Roe v. Wade was settled law. They lied. They flat out lied. They knew goddamn well what they were going to do, and they just did it. So something has to be done about Justice Alito and Justice Thomas. And you know what? Yeah, just the Supreme Court is a mess right now. This is a body that used to be held in high esteem, that people really did not second guess the Supreme Court. Now you got to second guess them. This is an activist court. It's activist. It's activist because these people they're not acting in good faith. And when I say these people, I don't mean Sotomayor and Kagan and Jackson. I mean the other 6 idiots. They're all compromised. All of them compromised. Compromised. You mean to tell me it takes you this long to contemplate whether or not a president should have presidential immunity? Where does it say that in the Constitution? Where does it say in the Constitution that if a president is accused and indicted by grand juries of a litany of crimes, that he should have immunity for those? Where does it say that? Where does it say that if a president wants to assassinate his political opponent and use SEAL Team 6 to do it, where does it say that he deserves presidential immunity? This case should have been decided before anybody left the room that day. They should have said, SEAL Team 6, are you crazy? No. This case is over. They shouldn't have even taken it. It's ludicrous. And of course, Terrence Thomas is loving it because people are not focused on how the fuck he got a $250,000 RV gift amongst other millions of dollars worth of gift, private jet flights and private yacht rides and stays in a fancy resort that were free, and buying his mother's house and paying for his kids, his grandnephew, whatever, his tuition. All that shit is unethical. They need to expand the court. All right, so this is the favorite. this is actually the thing that I didn't want to talk about it, but there's a part of my brain that is itching to talk about this, right? So previously, Terrence Howard was the guy that I knew. He's an actor. He's the guy that I knew in movies. He had those pretty eyes, right? He's light-skinned. He's light-skinned, has pretty eyes, and usually plays a really bad guy. He was the bad guy in Big Mama's House. The first one, Martin Lawrence, that was a funny movie. The first one, Big Mama's House, that shit was funny. The other 2, garbage. Don't waste your time. I wouldn't even wish that on my worst enemy. But he was the bad guy in the first Big Mama's House. And then after that, he appeared in Iron Man as Rhodey, Anthony Rhodes. He was like Iron Man's, Tony Stark's like best friend, and he was in the Air Force or whatever. And they did one of those things like they did in Bewitched, like all of a sudden Darren Stevens changed his appearance. Samantha's husband looks completely different from one season to the next. It was Dick York, and they switched from Dick York to Dick Sargent. They thought we wouldn't notice. Come on. It's two very different looking people. And they did the same thing. Marvel was like, let's pull a a Bewitched on our fans. Nobody will notice. They switched from Terrence Howard to Don Cheadle. And the reason they switched was because there was some contract dispute, I guess. I think Terrence Howard wanted more money or whatever happened. My opinion of Terrence Howard back then was like, wow, dude, you passed up being in like 7 different Marvel movies. Why would you do it? It's like, that was huge. You can't tell me that you and your agent didn't look down the road and see this is a great opportunity. All these spin-offs. So to me, in my brain, Terrence Howard wasn't that smart. Now, fast forward to today, big hoopla, right? I don't know when this podcast, this Joe Rogan episode aired, but I remember seeing people jumping on completely unrelated tweets. I'd be, tweeting about Hillary or about, my cat or whatever. And people were like, oh, well, what do you think of Terrence Howard now? He just changed the game. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? Terrence Howard changed the game. And yeah, people were just randomly, ha! What? Terrence Howard, take that. People were like, acting like he proved us all wrong. Terrence Howard proved everybody wrong. What? And then I saw that he had been on Joe Rogan. So immediately now, when I see somebody's been on Joe Rogan, I almost immediately kind of just discount whatever. Oh, he was on Joe Rogan. Yeah, I'm not interested. Really, who else is on Joe Rogan? Aaron Rodgers goes on Joe Rogan. Aaron Rodgers is a dickhead. He's an anti-vax dickhead. Jordan Peterson. All these other assholes go on Joe Rogan. It's like a bro fest. What do I need? When you go on Joe Rogan, you're telling the world that you don't give a shit, that you are hanging out with a jackass who thinks he's smarter than everybody, and that opinions are facts. Anyway, so apparently Terrence Howard has some ideas about stuff, right? He has ideas about science, about UAP. UAPs are UFOs. It's the new term. I forget what, unidentified air something. Unidentified aircraft phenomenon, something like that, or whatever it is. UFOs. He has ideas about that. He has ideas about propulsion. What would make people be able to travel at light speed, or his ideas about the periodic table, and that the periodic table is based on, what? Let me just play you a clip. I have a clip. And I hope I don't get dinged in the head for for sharing this, but we'll see. We shall see. No, not that. Here we go.
Build the periodic table. What do you mean specifically?
Well, the way the periodic table is laid out, the periodic table they have now,
Let's see.
it looks like a
Pull up
box.
an image of it.
It looks like a straight box,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't show that hydrogen has the same tone as carbon.
What do you mean by tone?
Same tone, same key of E. Same key of E, 40.5 hertz. The next one would be like 81 hertz. You go to silicon, it will double up and would be 162 hertz. You'll go to cobalt, and it'll be 324 hertz. It's take the angles of incidence or the tones that they create, their color. Like you can turn color back into sound based upon, it's the same wavelength, it's just twice as long or much longer.
Are you with us here? We're turning color into sound, or sound into color. The periodic table.
So all you have to do is keep dividing light by 2. You keep dividing light.
We're dividing light by 2.
By 2, and you'll ultimately get back to the audible sound of it, because there was a relationship between light and color, sound and tone, matter and shape. Walter Russell's periodic table that he put together. Now you compare that to Mendeleev's periodic table, and you'll see something completely different. It's unwinding.
Whoa.
And you
Whoa. Okay, so let me stop right there, right? Because that's enough. Trump Reaper says, I have no idea what this dude is saying. And you know what? I'm not ashamed. I'm not embarrassed to admit that I don't know it either, because I'm not a scientist. I'm not a mathematician, and I haven't used drugs in over 20 years. And to me, that sounds like a few different things. It sounds like he went on an acid trip and never came back. But then I don't know, because here's the thing. What he's saying it with 100% unwavering confidence. When people speak like that with confidence, often it doesn't matter if they're talking nonsense or if they really know what the hell they're talking about. If they say it with an air of confidence, it's like, oh yeah, he must be right. He mentioned Mendeleev. Mendeleev and Walter Reed, you know? Vibrations in the key of E. What the fuck are you talking about? And what bugged me was that, like, I watched, I watched an hour of this. This is a 3-hour thing. I couldn't subject myself to more than that. It's kind of fascinating on the one hand, because he apparently, Terrence Howard, has some patents, right? He has some patents, and he has patents for AR and VR, augmented reality and virtual reality. And some of these patents have been used, and he has records to show, they've been used by like Raytheon and Sony and, Amazon and all of these like major corporations. He says that they have made billions of dollars off of his stuff. Billions of dollars. He ain't get a penny of it. If you that smart, you're figuring out the sound of light waves, you can't figure out how to monetize that shit from all those billion-dollar corporations. Something don't add up. He also said, speaking of add up, he says that 1 times 1 should not equal 1. It should equal 2. I get it, because when I was in elementary school and I first heard that equation, I was like, well, that doesn't make sense, because 1 plus 1 is 2. Why is 1 times 1 1? Because it is, for whatever reason. I'm sure there's a more, a deeper explanation of that. I don't have the time or energy to explain that shit right now. But it irritates me that, like, reputable scientists and mathematicians have not already come out. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I just haven't seen them refute his shit yet. But I'm saying shit because it looks and sounds like shit. Just, it bugs me. Why is nobody coming out and saying, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but Mr. Howard is gravely mistaken. None of the things that he alleges make any sense whatsoever. Why? What is the delay? We must check our math first before we refute it. Because scientists, they gotta always check the math. So the other thing it reminded me of was, and I hope I don't get dinged for this one too, but There was a show called In Living Color back in the late 80s, early 90s. In Living Color was hilarious. It was like a Keenan Ivory Wayans show. And all the Wayans family was on this show. Jim Carrey was on it. Hilarious. And anyway, Damon Wayans played a character. I want to say what was his name? Oswald something. He was this guy who was in prison, right? And I've known people like this. Known people like this who went to prison and they read a lot of books, and and they didn't have supervision. They just had the books, right? And so they learned a whole lot of vocabulary, and then they started using this vocabulary, but they didn't have a sense of what the right context was in which to use this vocabulary. So without further ado, let me share this with you. And I hope I don't get dinged for it, but it's too funny to not share it. There's going to be great big gaps in my in my show. Wait, what is this? Wait, let me stop sharing that for a second. Okay. Here we go. Excuse me. Present to share screen, show ideas. This one. Oswald Bates.
First of all, we must internalize the flatulation of the matter by transmitting the effervescence of the Indonesian proximity in order to further segregate the crux of my venereal infection. Now, if I may retain my liquids here for one moment, I'd like to continue the redundance of my quote-unquote intestinal tract. See, because to preclude on the issue of world domination would only circumcise the revelation that reflects the aphrodisiac symptoms which now perpetrates the Jericho's activation. Do not misinterpret the chauvinistic.
Give to the United Negro Scholarship Fund, because a mind is a terrible thing to develop without help.
Allow me to expose my colon once again. The ramification inflicted on the incision placed within the fallopian cavities serves to be holistic, taken from the Latin word jalapeno.
Oh my god, it was totally worth it. And just you might if you watch this on replay, that whole minute and change might be cut out because they're like, copyright. But that was funny as hell. So funny, that Oswald Bates. The crux. Yeah. So I don't know if that's what happened with Terrence Howard. If he was just having like a mental breakdown, does he believe these things? Is there validity to them? Did anybody else see these things from Terrence Howard? And maybe I'm wrong. I'm no genius. I'm kind of smart. I'm not the smartest guy. I know plenty of people who are way smarter than me, but I like to believe that my glass is half full, and that there's plenty of stuff for me to learn, right? So part of my brain is like, is he right? Does light have a sound? It smells like a sound. I'm lost and I'm found. And I mean, what was that? And it goes on for 3 hours, this Terrence Howard stuff. It's just, and people were coming onto my tweets like, see, he's proven everything is a lie. That's the part that bothers me, because we used to we disagree now on whether or not the election was stolen, or a whole host of things. We disagree on things that we shouldn't be disagreeing on, but at least math, we were consistent, right? 1 + 2 is 3. 1 + 1 is 2. 1 times 1 is 1. But now, Joe Rogan, who has an audience of millions of gullible fucks, is platforming a guy who is convincing people now that everything you know about math is wrong. Everything you know about the periodic table is wrong. Reality is all wrong. Lights have sounds, and maybe lights do have sounds, and maybe I'm the asshole, right? Maybe, I don't know. Let me see. Is anyone here? Yeah, see, Jenny Rayner, she used to like Terrence Howard as an actor until he started talking like a MAGA. Let's see. I want to see if anybody else. Fire Marshal Bill. It was funny. Yeah. Did anyone else find the things that Terrence Howard was saying? Were they accurate? Was no wonder he was replaced by Don Cheadle as War Machine. Yeah, I don't get it. You have all that, supposedly all that under the cap, but you didn't. Meredith Powell says her husband is a scientist and a mathematician. Wow. That's a nice brag. Yes, please get back to us and let us know if the math and the science checks out. Oh, Lula Girl says she is a math and engineering professional. Please elaborate with that. Yeah. Trump Reaper wants to know, can't the earth be both, like a pancake? No. No, it cannot, because we already have satellites that have already navigated the circumference of our planet and verified its 3D, its spherical nature. Excuse me. Yeah, all right. So I would just like to get back. I would like us to get back to a point where we can all agree, on the basics of reality, and it worries me that the fabric of our reality is being pulled apart like a thread on a sweater. You're just unraveling this shit slowly until we can't agree on anything anymore. And then what do you have? Chaos. We just can't even agree on that basic shit. Should people be able to believe what they want to believe? I guess. I mean, that's what religion is, isn't it? Isn't that what religion? That's what religion is. Religion is people believing what they want to believe. I'm not knocking it, and I was just talking to my wife about this. Like, I used to be a lot more religious, and when I say religious, maybe not religious, but I didn't used to question it. Like when I was growing up, my grandmother would tell me things, and she taught me and my sister, and we just took it at face value. Whatever she told us, that is what is real, And then I grew up and I started thinking about things that we hear about, And so how was it if there were only two people in the beginning, right? They're just two people. How did everybody become born from just those two people? There was a whole lot of fucking going on, you know. Yeah, and I think that the main thing that really bugged me though, it happened in the mid 2000s, is when I started thinking about all the people that I have known in my life in different religions, different, faiths, even people agnostic or atheist or whatever, and they were good people, like really good people, Um, and I remembered that my religion taught that if you're not in this religion, you are going to hell, right? And you're gonna burn forever. This is what we learned as kids growing up. You're gonna burn forever, and once one layer of skin burns off, you get a whole fresh new layer, and then that burns off, and just eternally, for eternity, because you weren't born in the correct religion. To me, that made absolutely no sense, and I was like, you know what? I'm calling bullshit. So, when I get on a plane and I fly somewhere, I say my prayers. I do. And I close my eyes and my prayer is earnest. Earnest. I'm talking directly to God. So I guess I am still spiritual. I still believe that there is a power greater than myself. I'm just not buying all of the organized, rah-rah-ism around it, the separation of religions. I believe that personally, I believe that God is just, is so intelligent that he doesn't give a damn if you're Jewish or if you're Christian or Catholic or Muslim or Hindu or Buddhist or any, as long as you're good, then there's a place for you. That's what I believe. That's what I believe. And I don't begrudge anybody their religious beliefs at all. In fact, yeah. that's all I'm going to say. I feel like I'm starting to ramble a bit, and I don't mean to ramble. I want to stay focused with you guys because this all emerged from the discussion about Terrence Howard and how we don't have a shared reality anymore. And my reality is that I am here and that I'm trying to do good. I'm trying to use my voice to do good, to teach my kids the right way to live amongst other people, to accept other people as they are. Yeah, that's it. Just live a good life. And if somebody believes a religion that's different from mine, groovy, because I don't really give a damn about religion. Oh boy. Anyway, guys, that's it. That's what I have for you today. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Storytime with BDD. I'm your host, BDD, aka Brooklyn Dad. I would love to hear any questions or comments you have right now before I make a beeline for my pizza and movie night. I'm very excited about that. I'm very excited about it. Sherry Scary. What is up with your boy Harrison Butker, for crying out loud? Look, I had Harrison Butker. You guys know I play fantasy football. He was my kicker. Now, likely, I'm not going to take him I'm not gonna take him this year. This year because he's an asshole. I'm also not gonna take Aaron Rodgers. Disgusting. So disappointing. So disappointing. Okay, so nobody's got any. Oh, let's read this, Chris. Chris Passeri says Stanley from The Office. Stanley from The Office needs to yell at Terrence Howard like he did to Ryan. Boy, have you lost your mind? Because I'll help you find it. It was so good. I need to start watching The Office again. That was a classic line. Yeah, that was good. So, guys, thank you. Let's see. Is it okay to hate a person based on their faith? That got 6 million people killed. It is absolutely not okay to hate a person based on their faith. Yeah, I think I just pretty much made that point very clearly. Lula Girl, thank you for the donation. Thank you for that. And Trump Reaper, thank you for the question. And you guys, I look for what movie? The movie is likely tonight going to be that J-Lo movie called Alpha, where she plays like a an AI hunting special forces agent or something. And then this weekend, possibly going to see Furiosa, Mad Max Furiosa. So, guys, I look forward to seeing you all here, same time next week. Oh, have a great Memorial Day weekend. That is this weekend, right? Have a great Memorial Day weekend. To those of you who have members, family members, and loved ones who served and paid the ultimate sacrifice, we thank you. Thank your family members for their service. And I look forward to seeing you guys. I love you all. Wait, let me try that again. I look forward to seeing you all here, same time, same place. I love you all. Peace.